There are places in this country that brush up against history. And then there are places that, for one brief, shining moment, became the center of it. Today, I want to take you to one of those places. Marion, Ohio. My hometown. The place where I was born and raised. The place that shaped me. The place I still carry with me every single day. In the years between the Civil War and World War I, Ohio wasn't just a state on the map. It was a political powerhouse. Its cities were booming, its population was growing, and its influence stretched all the way to Washington, D.C. Presidents came from Ohio, the way quarterbacks come from Pennsylvania. And then there was Marion. At the turn of the 20th century, Marion was a city on the move. Factories humming, railroads converging, newspapers shaping opinion, optimism everywhere you looked, and at the center of it all, a tall, silver-haired newspaper man with a calm voice and an easy confidence. Warren Gamaliel Harding. Before he was president, Harding was Marion's guy. He bought a failing newspaper, the Marion Star, and he turned it around. He walked those streets. He knew those people. He wasn't born into power. He grew into it. State senator, lieutenant governor, U.S. senator, and all the while, Marion watched one of its own. By 1920, the country was exhausted. World War I had ended, but peace hadn't settled in. Woodrow Wilson was broken by a stroke. Theodore Roosevelt was gone. The nation was craving something steady, something familiar, something calm. And that's when America turned its eyes and ears toward a front porch in Marion, Ohio. Harding didn't crisscross the country. He invited the country to come to him. Reporters, delegations, factory workers, farmers, political bosses, and everyday folks. They gathered on Mount Vernon Avenue, and Marion became, quite literally, the front porch of America. When Harding won the Republican nomination, Marion exploded with joy. Factory whistles blew. Church bells rang. People poured into the streets. This wasn't just politics. This was personal. Marion's favorite son was headed to the White House. The election of 1920 pitted two Ohioans against each other. Harding, the Republican from Marion, and James M. Cox, the Democrat from Dayton, with a young Franklin Delano Roosevelt as his running mate. Ohio versus Ohio. History versus history. Harding won in a landslide. Now, I know how history books often treat Warren Harding. I know the word that usually comes next, corruption. And yes, there were scandals all around him. Men he trusted who betrayed that trust. But here's the part that often gets lost. Harding himself was an able president. He was forward-looking, and in many ways, a brave one. He created the modern federal budget system, the Budget and Accounting Act, giving the country real financial oversight for the first time. He led the Washington Naval Conference, the first major international arms reduction agreement in world history. He pardoned Eugene V. Debs, signaling national healing after wartime divisions. And in 1921, standing in Birmingham, Alabama, Warren Harding became the first sitting president to publicly speak out against lynching and racial violence in the Deep South. Now that took courage. He welcomed women into the cabinet meetings. He embraced new technology, becoming the first president whose voice was broadcast on radio. And 4 years before John F. Kennedy would echo it to a new generation, Harding told Americans, in his own words, not to ask only what their country could do for them. I'll say it plainly. I am one of the few people who believes Warren Harding was a good president, and an important one. And Marion knew it. Marion embraced him because he was ours, and because he never forgot where he came from. In my home, I have Harding memorabilia, little pieces of that history. And when I hold them, I don't just see a presidency. I see a city at its peak, a city full of promise, a city that, for a moment, stood at the very center of the American story. It still amazes me that Marion, Ohio, is the only city in the United States connected to both a President of the United States and a Miss America. That tells you something about what this city once was. The wheels came off in the 1970s. The growth stalled. Expectations went unmet. Marion, Ohio never quite became what people once thought it would. But for a moment, a beautiful, undeniable moment, Marion, Ohio was the epicenter of the United States. And I am deeply proud to say I am a Marionite. This town helped make me. Its stories matter to me. And by telling them, especially this one, it feels like honoring something sacred. Because history doesn't just live in textbooks. It lives in front porches, in newspapers, in quiet Midwestern towns that once held the world's attention. And that is the story behind the story of the election of 1920 and Warren G. Harding, and of Marion, Ohio. I hope you found it as fascinating as I did. The echoes of the past are waiting to be heard. My name is Brian Smith, and we are history.